Hello again, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to perform a circular block. The circular block is mainly done in walking stance, and the tool used is the inner forearm or the reverse knife hand, and in rare cases the knife hand can also be used. But I'll be showing you the block using the inner forearm. It's used against two opponents. The opponent in front will be doing a low front kick, and you scoop the leg out of the way so it gets out of line from the target and it puts the opponent in an untenable position, and then you block out to the side front where the second opponent will be attacking. So effectively it's a middle block at the end. There is a secondary application where you scoop the leg and actually throw it out towards the second opponent. So here are examples of the two applications. To practice the block, adopt a walking stance and start with your arms open, but not too wide. So from here, the opposite arm will be doing the blocking and moving in a circular motion. So it's opposite to your front leg. You need to get low to block the low kick, so you need to drop your body by bending the back leg and heel off the ground. But it also helps to drop the shoulder and go half facing, so that will in effect lower this arm to scoop the leg well. Then you raise the body, continuing with the circular motion. That will help to deflect the kick out of line of the target. And then you continue going up with the blocking arm underneath, palms facing out. And as you can see, this is a good position for performing the middle block at the end. And it's worth throwing your body weight into the second block. As you turn away, just jerk it this way. But throughout the motion, keep your shoulder down and remain half facing. Even though you're turning this way, you're still half facing the second opponent. You're supposed to be half facing both opponents. So when you catch the first one, you're half facing here. But when you catch the second one, you're still half facing, even though you turn this way. I've often seen it done full facing and then turning away at the end. Now there's a few problems with this. If you're full facing, your arm doesn't go low enough. And then even if you manage to scoop the leg, it's very difficult to deflect it because you're crossing your arm over too much. And then if you go turning away from the block, you're taking the mass away from the block, which weakens it. And if you're using a second application where you want to throw the leg out, bringing your body away doesn't make sense. If you want to push something, you push your way into it, not away. So you need to throw your weight into it, whether you're blocking or just throwing the leg out. So a lot of people may argue that by turning your body in, you're going to end up full facing, but not really. You've got to be half facing both opponents. So when you're blocking the first one, you're half facing here. And when you do the second block, you're still half facing the second opponent, even if you turn in. Because if I hold that position and move my stance, you can see I'm in a good half-facing position. I change my stance back, I'm still half-facing. If you do it the other way, where you're full-facing and turn away, in effect, you're side-facing, almost side-facing the second opponent. Because if I change my stance, you can see that shoulder's too far back, and it's a very awkward position. So like that, no need. So your body's going to be facing about there. 1, 2, like that. But you're still half-facing the opponent. The next stage is to do it as a spot technique from parallel stance. You need to start the block as soon as your foot touches the floor. So as soon as it starts, you collapse the knee, start swinging the arms in. You do a prolonged breath throughout the motion and a sharp breath at the end. Like that. And fix your gaze in front for the first block and then to the side front for the second block. So now you're ready to practice it as a fundamental exercise, doing it with the left and right. I've seen many different interpretations of this block, and if you're an instructor and you teach it differently, or you're a student and your instructor teaches you differently, well, if you're a student, you must always do it the way your instructor tells you, but all instructors should review what they're teaching and try to teach the right way. The reason why I teach it in the way that I described is because that's the way I interpret it from the encyclopedia. General Choi wrote that the block should be half facing with the shoulder down at the moment of the block. And my interpretation is the moment of the block is the initial block as well as the second block. And the way I described it, you're half facing with the shoulder down on both parts anyway. But I know many instructors interpret it to mean to be half facing, shoulder down only on the second part of the block. So if you have a different interpretation, please leave a comment. I'm always interested to hear them. So that's it for circular block. That's one of the movements in Won-Yo-Tul, and I'll be covering that very soon. So please join me for my next Taekwondo lesson, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.